welcome to Quackalope. Thank you for being here. I'm doing a series where I'm playing through, well, basically everything from Final Girl. I'm playing the first chapter, the first story in our lore and scenario book here that I just got in the mail, which I am insanely excited about because it tells the backstory and the depth and the grittiness of what's happening here, and also pre-scripts the item decks, the tarot cards, the events, the location, and kind of gives you this whole little puzzle to play in. Now, am I good at it? That's besides the point. Do I enjoy the heck out of this game, and am I enjoying diving in and exploring all this content? Abso-freaking-lutely. So, if you're here, if you're watching, and you're excited about Final Girl, whether you have Wave 1 and you're enjoying this solo experience, you're watching Season 2, ready for that all-in pledge to actually arrive, or you're picking and choosing what scenarios to dive into, you need to go ahead and, well, subscribe and leave a comment down below. Subscribe because we're putting out about 6 videos on Final Girl, with every creature, every scenario, the first chapter of every story, so you can see how they all begin and how they all function here on the map. Comment letting me know which chapter you'd like to see continued, because if we get enough engagement here, I see no reason why we shouldn't dive through and continue being murdered through the other chapters. Or winning? Not winning. Certainly not winning. Today, we are playing Terror from Above, which is the bird-themed scenario. Now, I do have to say, and I mean this with all due respect, Van Ryder Games, but I do have to identify and acknowledge that there is a severe lack of ducks in your game. Not a single duck on any one of these bird tokens, and trust me, I checked every single one, and as far as I can tell, not a single duck on an item card, a rubber duck hidden in a map, any indication that a duck loves your game at all. And, I mean, personally, you know, I appreciate the bird support, but I'm a little hurt. So we'll see if we can get one of those ducks into Season 2. And yes, I am absolutely sending this video to AJ and saying, listen, I know, I am neither a Final Girl nor are Quackalopes a thing that could be a horror trope or a horror movie. We won't earn our place into a vignette. But a single pair of lucky dice could also be a sophisticated rubber duck? I don't know. Or we could do a bourbon bottle, Quackalope bourbon or Quackalope beer. I'm just saying. You've got mysterious pills. That's gotta be worse, at least from where I come in Kentucky. That's a lot worse than the bourbon I'm drinking while we're playing this. Besides the point, let's dive into this. I'm going to give you a quick overview of this, but honestly, because I'm doing a full series on this, I'm not going to do a hard teach in every single video. Instead, I'm going to give you the groundwork. I did a full teach in the very first one, and then I'm going to walk you through the game and really take my time helping you follow along while we play. So, Final Girl. Final Girl is a solo puzzle where you're going to be playing cards and spending the resource of time to take actions here on the main board, rescuing the different citizens or different people that are running around. In this case, it's going to be campers, and going up against whatever scenario you're encountering. In this case, it's going to be Terror from Above. They work as little modules that mix in with the core base game, allowing you to face any Final Girl versus any villain versus any location in this whole cacophony of crazy and chaos and mess. On my turn, I'm going to take an action by playing cards from my hand. I'll start with a handful of zero-cost time cards, and then at the end of my turn, I'll be able to spend whatever remaining time I have to purchase from the marketplace. Now, the way that the market flows is every card I played is not going to be available for at least one round, which means you have to kind of get into a sequence and flow and stagger how you're purchasing, how you're utilizing, and when they're coming back into play to make sure you don't find yourself caught short-foot. Caught left-handed, caught short-foot, caught up a tree without a possum is what I'm trying to say. In the game, I'm going to be balancing 2 different resources. The horror track here, which should start at 4, which is correct. That's going to be how many dice I roll to resolve the success or fails on every card I play, And then the time track. Like I said, that's going to be the main resource both for taking actions and for purchasing future actions. We have our finale and dark power over here with the bird. Now the bird is the terror from above is a vignette, which means it's not a full standardized faction. It is a full functioning system in the game, but we're actually playing with a pile of bird tokens instead of one nefarious villain miniature. And we're playing with Mullane. Mullane actually comes in this vignette storyline, which I'm pretty excited about because we get another person to play with. And each one of these characters has their own special powers and abilities. Like, for instance, once per action phase, you may lose a health to deal 2 damage divided as you choose among the enemies in your space, which could be major, and you'll understand why once we start going through the Terror from Above rules and setup. We have set this up as pre-scripted based off of the Cursed Kid storyline, Chapter 1 in the Terror from Above narrative here in the campaign book, which means we have a pre-scripted stack of decks. We have set up the meditation hour here at Camp Happy Trails. The Terror deck is custom, the events are custom, and we need to go ahead and reveal the very first one. Dark Waters. Place the Dark Waters token at the lake. Which token is that? Ah, I see. Okay, wait, it's here? It is there, okay. Whenever a victim enters the lake, they are killed immediately. Well, perfect. So, if anyone runs in the direction of the lake, or stops in the lake, or does anything in the lake, the birds that are apparently either drowning, poisoning, or flapping their wings on the edge of the lake are going to be able to pick them off and murder them instantly. So, I feel good about this. I feel like we're going to win. Let's go ahead and read through the rules of the Terror from Above and then start with the flavor text and dive into the gameplay. Terror from Above. When the skies darkened, I knew what was coming. I knew what was coming was terror. Pure, animalistic terror. Bird attack survivor. This and the subsequent rules cards will teach you the special rules for this Final Girl Vignette expansion. Terror from Above requires a full Final Girl core box in any location from a feature film box, each sold separately. Follow the normal setup rules, but with the exceptions outlined in these rules. Setup. There is no killer board. Instead, place the Bloodlust and card and the Bird Spawn card next to the location board. Place the Bloodlust marker on the start space of the Bloodlust card. Horror level starts at 4. Place a bird token with the 3 birds side up in the indicated location setup card. Place the Final Girl and victims as normal. Place 1 bird token on each empty space that has no victims or Final Girl. I do not like how this is starting out. We have a whole cacophony of birds everywhere watching us. Special victims. Special victims will only come out of hiding if and when one of the following conditions occur. You unlock your ultimate ability, meaning I've rescued 6 people, or there are no more normal victims on the board. So they either get all murdered, or I rescue them all. When one of the conditions has been met, place the special victim's meeple in the farthest space, search spaces from you with no more than 1 in a single space. So we have 3 that are going to be coming out. The special victims can never be attacked or killed, but for all the other purposes, they are treated like normal victims. How you lose. You lose immediately if there are 3 birds on every space on the board. Okay? Or the Final Girl dies, well, naturally. The birds. The birds are represented by tokens. They are considered minions. Birds will never move on their own and can only be moved by a special game effect, such as an effect from an item. When resolving either of these 2 icons, the boot or the bird foot, roll 2 dice and follow the instructions on the bird spawn card. Which I assume is around somewhere. Bird spawn card. Could I find a bird spawn card, possibly? No. Maybe. Spawn birds, there we are. Okay. Birds will always spawn at least once per round during the minion action. Yep, because they're always going to spawn, which is the first step of the killer phase, but oftentimes they will spawn more based on the terror card effect. If birds need to be placed in a space that already has 3 birds, place them in an adjacent space of your choice. Instead, continue finding spaces, expanding farther away if necessary until all spawned birds are placed. Bird attacks. When resolving the attack icon, an attack will take place in the space with the final girl, as long as there is at least 1 bird, and in every space with 3 birds. Birds attack 1 target in their space, dealing damage equal to the number of birds in their space. Birds always prioritize normal victims over the final girl if both are in the same space. Birds in a space can be attacked, and you can remove 1 bird per damage dealt. Excess damage is lost. Other rules. When birds attack, the final girl can use reaction cards to prevent damage to anyone in their space. Normally, reaction cards cannot be used to defend victims. However, to protect a victim, all of the damage must be prevented, as it only takes 1 damage to kill a victim. Event cards that require 1 or more special victim meeples to be used should be ignored. When this occurs, discard and redraw a new event. And it may happen that some event cards don't make sense. If that occurs, redraw, but this is a scripted one, so all events should make sense. Let's establish the flavor text, which is half the point of these videos, and then let's dive in. No one knows what caused a storm of birds to descend on a small bay town a few years back, but since it happened, officials and scientists have been trying to determine why. Witness accounts from the few survivors indicated thousands and thousands of birds descended on the area. Their activity ranged from gathering and being a general nuisance to outright attacking and killing people. It hasn't happened since, and maybe it won't ever happen again, but people are fearful. One person that survived the incident knows why it happened. Here's the story. Remy, Juniata, and Maria traveled to a remote area in the mountains of South America just a few days before the birds' attack. They didn't realize it fully until it was too late, but they were the reason for the attack. The trio paid for a guided trip to the mountains to learn about ancient cultures long ago. Their guide pointed out one cave and, in almost a daring way, advised them never to go into the cave. The friends exchanged excited looks and said, "We're so going in that cave." That night, they slipped away from the hotel with a few supplies and headed to the cave. Maria was having second thoughts. "I'm not sure we should go in," but ultimately was convinced to follow by Remy, whom she had a secret crush on. They descended in the cave for 15 minutes and were beginning to have doubts, but just then, the cave opened into a large room with an extremely high ceiling. So high, in fact, a totem just behind the altar across the room towered upwards so far the top could not even be seen, and it was blanketed in darkness. The totem was majestic and awesome and featured birds with beaks and eyes of all sizes and shapes, some even with wings sprawling from the back of the totem. Some words were scribbled on the front of the altar, some ancient text. Fikin divi lesi noas reka para ashala. A warning, in a tongue long forgotten, which translates to "Mischief here below shall bring terror from above." On the altar were 3 bowls, each containing an item. The first, a diamond ring. Maria was drawn to its beauty and had a vision of Remy slipping it on her finger. Unable to control herself, Maria took the ring in hopes that one day the vision would come true. Remy, noticing none of that, was holding a small fish hook he'd picked up from the second bowl. It was unlike any fish hook he'd ever seen, with multiple barbs on the back. He had a vision of becoming a world-class sports fisherman, and like Maria, pocketed the item. Juanita knew something was wrong when she saw the trinket in the third bowl. It was a necklace with a one-of-a-kind pendant her mother had given her before she passed away. Sadly, Juanita had lost it during the move and was never able to find it. Now her guilt was pressing her to take the necklace before her. But how could it be her necklace? She turned back to leave without it, sobbing. "She wants that," Maria said quietly to Remy as she nodded towards the necklace. "Okay, I'll bring it and we can surprise it with her later," Remy replied, pocketing the necklace. Suddenly they heard a loud noise, sort of like the sound of a wave coming to shore from the darkness above. The first bird came into view, quickly followed by hundreds more. "Run!" Remy shouted. Thousands of birds flew after them and attacked. The 3 friends dashed through the cave as quickly as they could. When they emerged from the mouth of the cave after a long, violent chase and they barely survived, the birds were suddenly gone, seemingly sucked back into the cave as if by a vacuum. Bleeding from multiple wounds, the friends gasped and fell to the ground. Suddenly, the pain subsided and the wounds began to close up and skin repair itself right before their eyes. They couldn't help it. They all started laughing uncontrollably. It felt like a dream, but there they were. Raimi reached into his pocket and slowly raised the pendant from Junita. She grabbed it and in the same motion wrapped her arms around Raimi as tears fell. "Thank you," she said, before him, kissing him passionately. It was a surprise to each of them, and Maria glared at Raimi as Raimi kissed Junita back. "Ahem," she said, clearing her throat. The rest of the vacation was relatively uneventful, and the three friends returned home. They didn't really notice until a few days later, but the birds' presence in their small town was growing each day. The first attack occurred less than a week later. The friends got separated, but all witnessed different horrors as the nightmare unfolded. They each were looking for the others, but were not able to find one another. Each of them noticed that while the birds were attacking everyone around them, the birds always left them alone. But slowly, one by one, all of the residents were either killed or fortunate enough to escape the town. For some reasons, the birds needed everyone else dead or gone before they turned to their true targets. But finally, it was just them. Raimi and Junita had found each other first. At the moment, they were safe, but the birds seemed to be getting restless. Flapping their wings occasionally and letting out a caw every minute or two, Maria spotted them as they embraced and shared a romantic moment. She stopped in her tracks, said a goodbye they would never hear, and dropped the diamond ring to the ground in a poetic fashion. She turned and left the town, never looking back. Raimi and Junita saw Maria before she was gone from view and yelled for her. At the moment, the birds lifted in the air and began to circle. A funnel formed in mere seconds, and just like the twisters you see in a tornado as a tornado touches down, this one, made of birds, touched down. The only good thing about what had happened was at least their deaths were quick. The birds picked up the hook and the necklace from among their bones and the ring from the ground, just up the road where Maria had dropped it, and were gone from the town as fast as they had come. Okay. Cursed kids. Camp Happy Trails was one of the only places Melaine felt safe as a kid. A chance to get away from her abusive parents was always welcome. As an adult, she gave her time because for some of those kids, it meant just as much. The reassurances were probably different, but that didn't matter. If she had known what was coming this year, she would have just stayed home. When the birds began to amass, the counselors and camp officials didn't think too much of it. But when Shelley, Sweetie Pie Collins, was taken into the infirmary with severe wounds from a bird attack, everyone became nervous. The first camper was killed that night, and then all hell broke loose. Melaine rushed around the camp to help as many kids as possible escape. As she rushed Oliver through the gate to safety, he said, "Miss Melaine." "Yes, what is it?" she replied. "I think I know why the birds are here," he stammered. Melaine focused as he recounted his memory of a counselor named Isabel bragging about some earrings she'd gotten on a recent trip to South America. Oliver remembered Isabel saying she found them in a cave and that her and her friends were attacked by birds and almost killed. "I don't think she should have taken what didn't belong to her," Oliver stated in an eerily foreboding way. Two other counselors were there too. I don't know which ones, but maybe some of the other kids do. Melaine set back off into the camp. Okay, so there's our story. There's the flavor text, and now we need to start acting. So I'm starting with my standard cards. I have short rest, walk, focus, weak attack, focus, and walk. And to begin with, I need to start rescuing people. So what's the best path with this setup to pull people back home? I think I have to go maybe around this way and start just clearing as I go. So we're going to start off with a walk action. Rolling 2 dice to resolve that. So one success would let me move up to one space, and there's no way to redo that other one, so we're going to have to take it. That one time goes down. I'm going to move a space over. Let's do the second walk. Another success. Time goes down by 1. I'm going to pull this person with me. We're going to go ahead and collect. We can carry 2 at a time, so I think we go straight to safety next. Okay, I'm going to play a focus card as well. which is hopefully going to make everything escalate a little bit less. Where did you start? You started right there. Did not quite work how I wanted. I could discard 2 cards. I'll discard the focus and the short rest to go ahead and get a single success, which is going to drop this down by 1. It's going to cost me 1 time, leaving me with 3 time to spend. I'm going to buy a sprint, and I'm going to buy a close call. And I have Mysterious Pills, Pepper Spray, and Lucky Dice. Mysterious Pills are going to give me an option to reduce horror or heal 2. Pepper Spray is going to force something to move out of my area. And Lucky Dice is going to allow me to re-roll any or all of your dice. I like the Lucky Dice, so if you make it to the utility shed where someone is, that would not be the worst thing. But that's going to be my turn. I have purchased. I'm resetting back up to 6. I'm resetting my marketplace. And now we need to resolve... well, the people. Okay. And I cannot cut across the lake. Or at least can't have anyone follow me when I do. Alright, birds. What are you going to do? You're going to start with a attack and spawn. So I'm not in a location with any birds, and no other kids are in location with 3 birds, right? That's the concept. If I'm in a space with at least 1 bird, then I would get attacked. Okay. So, that's not going to happen, but they are going to spawn, so we need to roll a dice to resolve the spawn. So 2 is going to be any single space. Oh. I have to roll 2 dice. 1 is going to be the bird value, and 1 is going to be how many birds are going to be placed. So any space and 2 birds in any space. So let's do 2 birds back here because there's no kids around it, and we are not moving into that space at the moment. Okay, and we need to resolve a terror card now. Okay, double horror. If there's at least 1 special victim in play, there is not, so we're not going to resolve the next card. Okay, I think I can start saving people. My pile of cards, I have a sprint, and a sprint is what we're going for. We need to get a double success here. Single success, going to discard the close call card in order to get the next success, which I rolled perfectly. If you saw that, I did actually roll it perfectly. Move up to 3 spaces. We're going to go 1, 2, which is going to drop off both of these, which can get me 2 hearts, reduce terror, take a guard reaction card, move up to 2 spaces, move up to 1 space. I'm going to move up to 2 spaces and take a guard reaction card into my hand. So I still have 1 space left of my own. So I'm going to go 1 back. I'm going to get myself another move 1 space. So I have 2 spaces left still. So 1 and then back. And then I'm going to reduce terror by 1. Okay. That was actually kind of effective. I don't mind that at all. I am going to be ending in a location with a bird, and I did have to pay 1 time here to do that. I could do a weak attack. Let's go ahead and try to resolve an attack against this bird, see if we can take it out. That's going to deal 1 damage, but it's also going to deal a damage to me, which is fine. I haven't actually established my health. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I need to establish these tokens. So, over here, we need them all to be flipped correctly, and then we're going to mix them up without looking at them. Basically, I need 1 of these selected as a wild, because I don't know what my final health is. So, 4, I'm going to lose 1 health, but I'm going to slaughter 1 bird, which is always a good thing to do. Okay, buy phase. I take all my solo back into my hand, and I have 5 that I could spend. I think we're going to take a sprint, and I think we're going to take a search, and I think we're going to take a close call. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. These are going to get reset. And it is now the bird's turn. Birds are going to attack. Then birds are going to spawn. 5 and 6. 5 is going to be the nearest victim's space. So 3 here. And then 3 are going to spawn, let's say, there. Okay. I've got to run through there and rescue that. Let's check what the tarot card is. If there's at least one special victim in play, there is not. We're going to increase horror by 2. Now it's my turn. Alright, we're going to start with that sprint card. Because I need to race through here. Rescue that person. Ooh, double success. This is going so remarkably well at the moment. 1, 2, 3. No. 1, 2. Yeah, I think back there. Okay. Take a search action back here. We're looking for, hopefully, a pair of lucky dice. Double would give me a success, which is all I really need. I'm going to spend my short rest and my focus to go ahead and take that success. A pair of lucky dice are going to pop down into here. Discard and reroll any or all of your dice. Good to have on hand. We have 2 walk actions. And for the record, search takes 1 and sprint takes 1. So we're dropping down by 2. I'm going to take a walk action. It's going to be a complete and total fail. And I don't think right now is the time to use the lucky dice. I think I'm going to pass, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to discard my close call and my focus. Focus is almost there, though. Let's do the focus now for a single success, or spend 1 and gain 2. I'm going to do close call to try and re-roll this. Come on. Alright. Discard guard. Not really what I wanted to do, but it'll have the same effect. Discarding both those cards, focus card comes into play. This cycles up by 2. This reduces by 1. Now we have 6 to spend on the market. We're going to buy a sprint. We're going to buy... We're going to buy a sprint. We're going to buy a distraction. We're going to buy a close call. And I get my weak attack back into my hand. And these cycle back into their appropriate places. The problem is I'm getting into the cycle now where I don't actually have as many cards as I want of each type when I need them. So the birds. Birds are going to attack if they have an appropriate victim. They do not. They are going to spawn again, which is going to be a 1 and a 6. I'm absolutely going to do 1. And then 6 is going to be my space, which is perfectly fine. Okay? If the birds are attacking, attack in your space and all spaces where birds outnumber victims. Okay? If no attacks occurred, we're going to spawn and take a blood. 1 attack is going to occur. 1 attack is occurring directly in my space. And the sad thing is the birds are going to target my companions first. So one of them is going to die. This is going to pop up. An event is going to be drawn. Stubborn kids, 1 less victim will follow you. That makes it harder to save people. But I only need to save 2. Okay. I think that's the result. Alright. Back onto my turn. I have weak attack, close call, distraction, and sprint. Let's start with a sprint action just to see how far we can run. Ooh. Do I discard close call, or do I use it as something that buffs? I think we're going to get rid of weak attack and close call just to guarantee a triple success here. This drops down to 5. We're going to race this kid out. 1, 2, 3. Right to this location. We're gaining ourselves a health back, which we're going to lose next turn because they're going to attack us. And then we're going to play distraction. Hopefully we'll be able to cure 2. Or none. I'm going to do lucky dice. Save them for when it matters. Okay. These are out. I failed. So I will spend 4 time and reduce that by 1. Hands coming back to me, I have 1 to spend, which naturally is going to be spent on close call. Market's going to be refilled. 1 here, close call, distraction back where it goes, sprint back where it goes. Sadly, we did not get another sprint. But we only have 1 kid left to save. I think we can do this. I think this is looking good. I'm going to get attacked. I'm not going to be able to block it. It's going to be 1 damage coming to me because there's 1 bird in that location. Then I'm going to roll for their spawn. 1 and 5. We are absolutely doing 1 bird only. 5 is going to be the nearest victim space, which is 2 away, which is going to be right here. Drawing a AI card. In your space, and all victims where birds outnumber victims. So, in your space, and all spaces where birds outnumber victims. So there's going to be 1 attack. That attack is going to be to me this time. So I'll take another damage. Okay, on to me. So I have double walk. We're going for walk. If I can get out and up. Discard 3. I'm going to spend 2 time to re-roll. No. Yes, no. I get 1 success, but that's only 1 space. It does get me closer, but I really need to be able to move 2 to do this. Yeah, I'm going to spend 2 time. I'm going to re-roll both of them. That was a terrible decision. That was a horrible decision. We were going to fail, and we were going to move 1 space, lose 1 health, and go down 2 time. I'm going to walk again. I need to get out of locations where there are birds. Double success. That allows me to move 2. 1. Do I go in farther? Or do I just stay there? I think I just stay there. I don't think I need to move that additional space. Time ticks down by 1. We have focus, focus, and short rest. We need to short rest desperately because we need the health back. That did not work. I have 1 left to spend. Close calls coming back up into my hand. Weak attack is as well. These are going to replenish the market here. And birds are going to go. Birds are going to attack. There is no probable bird attack location. They're going to spawn. 6 and 4. Would have liked to roll that last time, but I didn't. We're going to spawn 4 birds. And they're going to spawn in my space. So a 3 bird here. And we'll do a 1 bird over here. Terror card, spawn. If 3 or fewer birds were spawned, spawn again. 4 and 2. Let's go ahead and call it a 4 and 2 so we don't have to spawn again. 4, 2 is going to be any single space, and 4 birds. So we're going to put 2 down here, and we're going to put 2 down there. Okay, we did not get attacked. But we also have no movement. We could do a weak attack, try to take out the birds that are there, decrease their population size. Double success is amazing because it does 1 damage. Not as much damage as I would like it to do. Okay. We have focus. Let's go ahead and drop this focus a little bit lower. Discard 2 cards to get a single success. And spend a time. Or close call it and re-roll one of them. Let's re-roll one of them. That is going to be a single success. 1 time goes down. This goes down by 1. I'm going to leave 1 last focus in my hand. And we have 5 buying power, which means we're buying sprint, we're buying guard, and we're buying close call, and our basic ones come back up into our hand. Focus and this pop down, and birds are going again. They are attacking. When resolving this icon, an attack will take place in the space with the final girl, as long as there is at least 1 bird, and every space with 3 birds, unless otherwise noted. So, the birds here are going to target my victim. I am going to play a defense, but I will need to block at least 2 to succeed here. That does not succeed. I think this is a moment where I play my close call. I spend 2 time, and I re-roll both of them. I can go ahead and spend 1 walk and 1 focus to get a success on this, which is going to reduce the damage by 2, which means no one's going to take damage, which I needed to happen because I need to rescue that kid. So after that happens, because after that, remember, the game isn't over. After I rescue the last person, I now have to make it across the board and rescue the other ones. Tarot card. Let's go see if the rumors are true. Place 2 new victims in the space where the killer started the game. So it's going to be right here. Oh. Oh no. These victims enter the lake immediately. They are killed immediately. You find 2 dead bodies just float up to the surface, and lo and behold, we are escalating here, and we are escalating here, meaning we get their dark power card, which is going to be Bernado. During upkeep, if there are 10 or more total birds in your space and adjacent spaces, 10 or more total birds in your space and adjacent spaces, you lose 3 health. Wow. How many spaces could have 10 or more total birds in their space and adjacent spaces? Because if there's 3, it is full, correct? Let's check. Where do I spawn birds? The place already has 3 birds. Place them in an adjacent space of your choice. Okay. So, there's not too many locations that could have that many birds, right? It's the exits, I think. Well, no, because... yes. Your space and adjacent spaces. So this could have it, this could have it, this could have it. Alright, I see it. Because you could have birds on your space and then a total of 9 potentially around you. Then we draw the mask and we draw an event. Now, the game didn't have us start with any more events pre-scripted, so I'm not sure if we actually have any events functioning in the deck, because it specifies that we just have 2 events. So I'm going to play it as if we just have 2 events. Okay, and this escalates by 1. Alright. What was I doing? We just resolved those birds attacking, me guarding, drawing the tarot card. Now it's back up to the top of the phase, and I have sprint, short rest, and walk in my hand. So sprint's my valuable card. That is what I desperately need to succeed. I can move 2 spaces with it. I'm discarding both cards from my hand. We're going to guarantee it. We're going to take our time down by 1, putting us at 5. And we're going to move 1, 2, bringing 1 person with us, giving ourselves back 1 health, and flipping Melanie's card. Once per action phase, you may lose a health to deal 2 damage divided as you choose among enemies. Okay. Okay. Well, back to the birds. Let's reset here. Buying from this, I have 5 total value to buy. And now's the time when I need to start doing damage, because these are going to be the people that pop out that I need to move around and rescue. So, 5. We're going to buy the long rest. We're going to try to hopefully get some health back before the game escalates a stage farther. Goes here, this goes here. Alright, birds are going. Birds are attacking. If there's a spot where they have 3 or in my location, they're going to hit me for 1, which is going to ping me. After that, we're drawing a birds are spawning. 2 and a 3, and I don't think I did a spawn phase last turn either. So we're going to go ahead and resolve that. We're going to spawn 2 birds at 3, which is going to be the nearest item site. 1, 2. So that one will flip to a 3. Spawn for last round. 4 and a 2. We're going to do 2 birds on 4. Nearest exit. So place I am is going to turn into a 3. And terror. If in your space and all victims were birds, outnumber victims. So right now, nothing outnumbers victims, and the special people that we have aren't going to be considered victims. Birds are going to attack me. 3 of them are going to attack me. Do they do 3 damage? 1 damage, no movement per bird. So, 1 damage hits me, 2 more damage coming, and I have no saving grace. I needed the long rest card a turn earlier in order for me to survive that and then start going and picking people up. I also needed to be... I was able to rescue people quickly, which is nice, but I just took too much damage too early on. I like the birds. I like that it changes the system of the game a little bit. It creates this kind of pocket of kind of infecting, spreading creatures, which is a lot of fun. Cool. Well, thank you for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. Like I said, we're going through a lot of different scenarios here with Final Girl. I'm really enjoying this game. Can't wait to continue diving in. I'm considering just filming the next one immediately. So, whatever you do, hit that subscribe button, and remember to do the important thing. Get out and play some games. I'll see you next time. Thank you.